My dad is from Montana, so every year we would go to Montana. He would take all his vacation at once, so we'd spend the whole month of August. We would fish every other day. A couple guys came up this little creek, I think it's Little Bear Creek or something. It's up near the Wyoming border, or might actually be in Wyoming. And they just were catching fish one after the other. So I told my dad, it's like, I want to learn how to fly fish. I'd cast a lot of old bamboo rods before and was not a fan, big, long, heavy things. And we're at a fly fishing school that Trout Unlimited ran, and somebody had a little 7-foot Orvis bamboo rod, and I cast that, and I really liked it. And did some research and was shocked to find that you can build these things in your basement. So I said, oh, I'll learn how to do that. Process is a 12-foot long section of bamboo, a pole of bamboo, also known as a culm, a C-U-L-M. And within that thing, you cut it in half, and you take that bamboo and you split it. You actually take a knife and twist and break it apart, and then you break it down into 6 individual strips, and then you have to work it and straighten it, get the little bumps and hooves out of it, and then you put it in what's called a planing form, and you use a hand plane, and this steel form has a taper in there. And so you're making a 60-degree angle on each one of these strips, and with a taper in it. So then you wind up with 6 60-degree strips tapered that you then roll back up together and glue together. When I started, there was a old time, since like ancient history, there was a listserv. So it was an email listserv where you go and ask questions and people would answer you. And then there's a bamboo rod forum that's still active. Just a bunch of old cranky old guys. That's kind of the community, but they're really helpful about passing down information. The guide makers that I have, there was plans online, and I didn't have the things for it, and someone sent me all the stuff from it, all the brass hex rod and these set screws and ounces, and just said, hey, well, next time somebody else needs something, you just kind of pay it forward kind of thing. So, and I've done that. I found an old chunk of American chestnut in an old house that had fallen down, and got on that forum and say, hey, anybody wants American chestnut to make some reel seats out of, and wind up shipping that stuff all over to people that want it. Just say, give me the shipping and I'll send you the wood and stuff. So I sell several rods throughout the course of the year, 10 to 15 rods a year. It's not a lucrative thing. There's no way I can retire off of making fly rods, but it pays for the entertainment, the hobby part of it. There's tradition. There's rules of things you have to do. You have to use silk thread. You have to use a metal called nickel silver. So this is the way you do it because you want to continue on this trend. There's still a couple pieces that I don't make, but eventually I get to the point where I'd like to make it stem to stern, every bit of it myself. I gotta probably retire before I do that and get a little more equipment. This one is, of course I probably didn't put a date on it, I just put a number. This is the 13th one, 11th one. So that's probably, I don't know, 17 years old or somewhere around in there. There's the handmade part of it, which sometimes lends itself to a little bit of imperfection. Why would you want it to be perfect? You want it to look like somebody handcrafted that. In West Virginia, it's harder to catch fish on a fly rod than it is a spinning rod because our streams are typically really small. If I just wanted to go catch fish, I would go fish a carbon rod and I'd fish live bait and I would catch more fish. It's relatively cheap, easy to get, works just fine. But there's a lot of things that work just fine that just kind of lack a little bit of soul to them. It's not just the fishing part. I'm also in a creek away from everybody and up in the mountains, and that's the appeal of that.